Okay, so we just went through humans versus computers. Now you can't really read this, but it says, now let's talk about variables, constants, and data types. Okay, so variable. So we used a variable, I think in the last project that you did, you said let X be one of the text boxes and Y be another of the text boxes and Z be another of the text boxes. And then you had to decide when to give a win to the user of the slot machine. So X was what you got in one of the slots and the other slot and the other slot. And so we used variables in that case. So X was a variable, Y was a variable, and Z was a variable. So here we say that a variable is a location in memory because when we say, okay, X turned out to be 7, right? When one of the slots was 7, we'd say X was 7. Basically, we're just saying here that we had to store that 7 somewhere. And where do you store it in the computer? You store it in somewhere in the memory. So it's a specific location in the memory. So X has a particular place that once the computer will allocate a particular location in memory for X, a particular location in memory for Y and Z and so on. So a variable we can say is a location in the memory, which has been specifically reserved for holding data, i.e. we can say that a variable is like a little box that contains the data. A variable thus binds the stored data to a name. Okay, so a variable binds, we can say, binds the stored data, so this, to a particular name, which enables convenient access at a later time. Variables can be assigned values by assignment. We saw that also. So we said let x equal something, let y equal something. We saw that also with the algorithm when we had A and B. Such assignment operation takes the form the variable name, like x, equals something. Here, equals is the assignment operator, not the so-called equality operator. So in math, this is the equality operator, but when we're talking about computers, it's different. This is saying assign 10 to y. So that actually what this is saying is before this happens, y had no value or had some other value, but we're assigning it the value 10. We're assigning it the value 15x. Prior to use in VB, variables must be declared. So we did that also. If you recall, we had to declare x, y, and z. And we do it something like this. We did it like this in your program. We said dim x, y, z. Actually, we declared 3 variables, but here we're just doing it in a simple way. So we're just declaring 1 variable. So we would say dim x as integer, I think we had for x, y, and z. So they were integers. So you have to give the so-called data type. So I said that data types are numbers or strings, but then I said later that in the number type, you can have various types. So one is integer. So you say dim x as integer. So the VB syntax, the way that we do, the way that we uh, declare a variable is like this. This is the so-called syntax. So we use the word dim, and we give the variable name, and we use the word as, and then we give the variable type, data type. Yeah. So dim is a VB keyword. Remember we talked about keywords, or I also called it reserved words, for declaring a variable. Variable name is the name of the variable, so X might be the name of the variable. As is also a VB keyword or reserved word for specifying the data type. So we do as, and then we have the data type, and it's going to be integer. So examples of variable use. So this was the VB syntax for local variable declaration, and example of variable use is just adding 2 values. well, this is not adding 10 and 15, but maybe adding x and y. Okay, let's continue in the next video.